Hey everybody, it's Craig with Craig's To-Do List with another Book Buzz segment. I have the pleasure of talking to Lee Hollis today. Lee Hollis is a very well-known mystery writer. Cozy mysteries, I think, is what we call these kind of mysteries. I don't even know how many titles, but I will tell you that he's sold over 500,000 books, and our local library system here in the North Country has at least 25 copies. I'm sure you would recognize the name if you're into this genre. So Lee's going to talk about a couple new books he's got coming out, and he's joining us from the West Coast where it's sunny and nice. Here it's rainy and gloomy. But go ahead. Welcome.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Let's talk a little bit about what's your latest release?
In time for Thanksgiving is Death of a Tom Turkey, and it's about it's a Haley Powell food and cocktails mystery in the series, and I co-authored these with my sister Holly, and her middle name is Lee, my middle name is Hollis, so we're Hollis. And, she does a lot of the recipes for the book. We do theme books like Death of a Blueberry Tart. You have a lot of blueberry recipes. To be Thanksgiving, so there's a lot of like leftover sweet potato muffins and things like that. And the heroine of the book, Haley, it's set in Bar Harbor, Maine, where we grew up, and that's where the whole entire series is set. And in this book, she investigates the death of a tea farmer right around Thanksgiving that a lot of the neighbors had a big problem with. So they're very Murder, She Wrote type mysteries, nothing James Patterson-y or Michael Connelly about, nothing too dark. The cozy genre is murder on the light side.
That's great. And so talk a little bit about this cool idea of like food and cocktails and mystery and death all rolled up into one. Where did that come from originally?
The mystery genre introduced culinary mysteries very early on, long before we started the Haley Powell series. And the Haley Powell series has been since she's been around a long time. And so we decided we were going to do cocktails mysteries. We were going to do the margarita murder or the martini murder. We discovered very quickly back then that like places like Walgreens wouldn't carry alcohol related mysteries for whatever reason. So we decided to combine that with food as well. And my sister's a great cook, so I can barely boil water. So that's why it's been a very successful partnership. Now, I've gone on to do other series without her as Lee Hollis, which is why everyone thinks Lee Hollis is a woman. But as long as they enjoy the books, I don't care.
How many books do you have in the Haley Powell series? That's what this one is, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we are writing number 19. Actually, I just sent number 19 into the editor today. And this will be the last official Haley Powell book, but she is going to return in a sequel series in 2020. We're just kind of like shaking things up a bit, and a lot of the same characters will be back, but we're also going to introduce a lot of new ones. And we're going from mass market to a trade paperback, which is the industry's changing a lot. Like those small mass market books you see in the bookstore and in the airports, they're disappearing, and everything's going trade paperback, hardcover, and digital. So we're kind of just moving with the times.
And is this last one in the series another holiday themed one?
It's Labor Day, but the book is called Death of a Grill Master. So Labor Day, someone's grilling, and the fireworks cover a gunshot, and Haley investigates from there. So
one thing that I like about your books that I've noticed, you have a real handle on like small town New England, America, and did you do a lot of research, or did you just recall people that you grew up with and kind of got a handle on the town?
Oh, well, the Haley Powell series takes place in Bar Harbor, Maine, where my sister and I grew up, my whole family. And so it was very easy to just picture myself back home. And sometimes I'd go back and write in Bar Harbor just to get the feel of it. It's become a game in town where people are guessing which characters they are. And we have one character, the real estate maven, Liddy, who's a dear friend of my sister's. And Liddy is this obnoxious character that annoys everyone. And yet the inspiration loves the character, thinks it's the thing. And she owns all these inns where she offers the books to all her guests.
Ah, that's funny. Well, she's probably glad she hasn't been killed off yet. I mean,
Yeah, no,
she'd rather be
she's still alive.
obnoxious than dead, I suppose.
Oh, believe me, I was at a literary event in Norway this week. Have you killed off someone in your real life? And I go, so many times you wouldn't even believe it.
Well, let's talk about the other book. So we were interested in this other book called My Father Always Finds Corpses, partly because it looks like it has a different cover, it looks like it's a different type of genre. Can you talk a little bit about that book?
Absolutely. This just came out in May, and it's kind of funny. This book features a character named Jared Jarvis, and I wrote 3 books back in the early 2000s named Rick Kopp called The Actor's Guide to Murder. And he was a former child star who was living with his detective boyfriend in the Hollywood Hills, all these murders. And the books did not perform well at all. And I thought, well, that's the end of that. And I had this psychic tell me that someday. And I thought he was crazy because it's like, who's going to want to bring back a character that nobody read? And lo and behold, 2.5 years ago, my editor called, bring him back, make him 60, which would be about now, and have a daughter, and they're in Palm Springs, where I live now, and they solve a crime together. It's to be a one-off, but now I'm writing the sequel right now for that.
Cool. So the daughter is a character that was birthed or happened in the interim from the other books, correct?
In the interim, yeah.
Yes.
And it's been 23 years. She's 23, and actually, her birth mother, and she was a surrogate child, and so that whole mystery is kind of in that world of like discovering her past. She gets roped into searching for her surrogate mother, and it opens up a can of worms, and a murder happens, and so she and her decide to investigate together. And she's unaware because, in the first 3 books in the early 2000s, he solved all these murders in Hollywood. Why she discovers in this book that her father was always finding corpses.
Cool. And so let's talk. One thing we love about your books is, and especially this one, I've heard has a lot of pop cultural references. As you know,
Yes.
I've known you a long time. We love pop culture. Why do you think that people love that so much? Do you feel like it just kind of makes them it makes them see something familiar, and it kind of you're kind of poking fun at celebrity sometime?
Yeah, I think it's that whole fame culture, 15 minutes of fame thing. But also, I worked in Hollywood, as you know, for a very long time as a writer, and so I feel like you write what you know that world. And so in this book, I'm able to draw on my experiences of working with various actors and sad. Some you do want to be as victims. And then I also did the Poppy Harmon series, which she was a retired actress who played a secretary on a now opened her own detective agency. I did 5 of those books, and that was very Hollywood centric and pop culture and all of that. And actually, this new Jared and his daughter, it's about a streaming series filming in Palm Springs based on a famous murder. Like murders, something from the past, and it brings in both the pop culture and Hollywood element.
Cool. We know your oeuvre and your ability, your desire to entertain is great, and these books are really funny. But let me talk a little bit about like research. If I went into your Google search thing, would there be stuff about how to kill people, or?
Yeah, I would be arrested tomorrow if I was in.
So yeah, how important is it for you? How important is it for you that these books have that the murders are actually something that is authentic, or like that? If you have some weird combination of poison or whatever, is that something that you're constantly trying to find new ways to kill people?
Yeah, and different poisons in different ways, And so, yeah, I'm researching a lot. That's most of my research because I want it to be authentic, even though campy or mine, especially on my own, just tend to be very like pop culture fun. I want the comedy out of the characters to be real. I want people to say, yes, this could really happen. As some of the ridiculous deaths, like a beast with honey and someone's body lotion extract, like that, like things like that. But there has to be some kind of authenticity to it, that it could conceivably happen. Yeah. So, but yeah, oh my God, if anybody suspected me of murder, I'd be arrested tomorrow.
Well,
You know.
hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully they know what your career is. Let's just a couple more quick questions. Who are your inspirations when you were growing up and you wanted to be a writer? Like, did you read Agatha Christie? Were you always drawn to mysteries? You have a unique sensibility where it's mystery and comedy together. When did you find out that that was sort of your thing?
I knew pretty early on, like as a kid, because I watched all the fun, glamorous detective shows like Heart to Heart and Charlie's Angels and Macmillan and Wife, but all of those shows, and yet when I became a professional writer, I wound up in sitcoms, and my first show was The Golden Girls, and so it was as as you could get. But I always, those are the things I watched. Those were the things I was passionate about. And then finally, like in the late 90s, I got the opportunity to write a Scooby-Doo movie. And so I got to, my first mystery was Scooby-Doo, which was one of my favorite, and that really inspired me. And it was shortly after that I said I want to start developing detective shows. But, because they stereotype you, as you know, Craig, they stereotype you in Hollywood for one thing, it was very difficult. So I ended up starting writing books. And I got to do those kind of stories as mystery novels. And that's what got me started.
Great. Well, they're so much fun. And again, I want to thank you for coming. You can find Lee Hollis's books at the North Country Library System. You can certainly buy them as well. I will put a link to your page, Amazon page, into the story. And again, over 500,000 copies sold because they're fun, they're a little catty, and they're cozy. And winter's coming up, people, and we want to read some during the winter. So Lee, thank you for joining us today. You can see more entertainment stories on Craig Zadoulis on our website. And good talking to you.
Thank you, Craig.